We're going to start with public comment. The Pennridge School Board welcomes public comment according to policy 903. We remind everyone of the following: public comment shall be limited to 3 minutes unless otherwise specified by the board. Participants must be recognized by the presiding officer and note their name and municipality. All statements shall be directed to the presiding officer rather than to individual board members, district employees, or members of the public, and the speaker may speak once during each public comment period. So same rules as last time. I didn't get a list. I don't know. Did we do that for? Okay. Is there? If anybody wants to speak, come on up. Thank you.
Diane Herring, Hilltown Township. Regarding the Finance Committee, I noticed that recently there was a significant change on the school's website regarding board documentation. In the last month or so, now that agendas are posted, documents that are listed in the agenda are now publicly viewable that weren't viewable before. I went through some of those documents. I'm wondering about the process for how documents get to you folks. I noted that there's a contract up for review for the prom. The contract states clearly that it's asking for a $2,500 deposit on an event that costs $2,000. I believe it's a typo. It's a contract dated from April. I'm wondering why contracts are presented with typos. Secondly, I noticed that there were several contracts for people who were being hired to do support work. And in both instances, those contracted listed Scott Ware as the board president in a contract. I find it very interesting that now that the documents are publicly accessible, I get to see the level of the documentation you're getting. I'm troubled by the fact that the documentation you're getting is so questionable. And I'm wondering why it is that way. I mean, how does the board get a contract dated from April and June that has a deposit amount that's greater than the contract amount itself? How does that even get put on to the board's agenda like that? I hope somebody could answer that at some point this evening.
The deposit amount is $2,500 because there's a $2,000 fee to use the facility, and there's a $500 fee due for a down payment for the services that the kids would choose later when they pick what they're having, as far as refreshments or whatever they get for services from the facility.
Okay, so it's a $2,500 deposit, but the event is $2,000.
The facility cost is $2,000, which has to be paid now, and the other $500 is their deposit on their services that they will request later when they decide what they want.
So they're paying for the facility in full, not a deposit on it?
Facility fees in full.
Okay, because that's not specified in the contract.
And the other $500 is for whatever is the deposit for their services.
Okay, and the other contracts that list Scott Ware as the board president?
I'll have to look at them.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
Yeah. Are these deposits put in escrow in case the business goes out of business? $2,500?
Mrs. Farland, I have no control over what the company does with the deposits, so I don't know the answer to that.
Well, you have control. You can ask them to say this needs to be in an escrow account in the event that you go out of business so that it's refunded. Don't you have a negotiation for that kind of thing?
Sure, I can ask them.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment for the facilities meeting? Seeing none. Our first item is obsolete items for review. And we have the library reading log, Grass Elementary School library reading log, Bedminster Elementary School library reading log, North Middle School computer tables public surplus, the high school science department varies items public surplus, science department shop vac scrap, Mnemonics, IntelliBoard, Recycle, Library Reading Log. Transportation Department, 72 passenger bus to scrap, AC refrigerant unit to public surplus. The Technology Department, June Technology Recycling. And I would like to make a motion. Is there any discussion for any of those items? Okay. Are we all okay with moving this to the board agenda? Thank you. The third item is the Gaga Pit. PTO is requesting approval to purchase and install a Gaga Pit at Grace Elementary School. Is there discussion on that?
Katie, did they not, there was is this a second one, or is it the first one that was from a couple of years back? Does anyone remember?
So this one is going to Grace Elementary, and I believe the first one was installed at West Brookfield. Siler.
So this is the first one. I remember seeing it from Grass before, but I guess they just didn't go through with it. I remember it coming to us.
This may have come through months ago, you may have seen it, but this is the official request. But the first one was Siler, this is the second one.
Thank you, Mr.
And
Whitmore.
South had a request, and actually Sellersville Elementary, if you remember, came to us quite a while ago with a full-blown playground approval to start getting money. They have one also.
Gaga's a lot of fun. That's my only other comment.
Is actually here.
When they get it installed, maybe we can go for the ribbon cutting and
Yeah.
play a little Gaga. It's addictive.
Oh. Okay, all right, so is everybody okay with moving that to the board meeting? Thank you. Number 4 is RFP bid results. And Jeff, do you want to go through these?
Yes, I can, thank you.
Can you put your mic on?
Okay, save a little time. Everybody has seen my requests in the past. So bid number 19, 110 HVAC filters. I'd like to approve, or to the board approve Trident filters for $21,912.19. That's pretty typical of every year of our bidding. Next would be lamps and ballasts, RFP 19-2, Schrader at $11,188.86. That's down quite a bit, probably from all the renovations we've been doing the last 8, 9, 10 years. That's probably a possible $8,000 to $9,000 decrease from prior years. Maintenance transportation uniform, RFP 19-03, Clemens uniform, $12,608.20. Gym floor refinishing, RFP 1904, Devon Divine floor, $13,825. That's for North Middle School, and again, through my non-routine budget that I've been dealing with. This is probably the 5th gym floor we've done in 6 years. So North's floor is a little larger than the elementaries we've been doing, and it's also just a little bit more expensive. Sarsville tile installation, RFP 19-05, Wright's flooring for $9,889. Sellersville VAT removal, Bristol Environmental, $12,200. And for, it's all really good news because we saved a lot of money, but some of the really good news here, trash removal. This is the second year that we've gone with a 3-year bid. So we're going into our 7th year. This year inviting the VOTEC to join us. So Upper Perk, Quakertown, Palisades, ourselves, and the VOTEC went in to bid for new trash this year, trash and waste. Cost is $25,467.33 the first year, and you can see the next year and the third year goes up by a few dollars. That's a decrease of $15,000 a year. So we're gonna save $15,000 per year, and all the schools, the 4 schools that are in with us, are seeing pretty much an equal decrease as we are. So that bid was a very nice bid.
That's wonderful, thank you. Go ahead.
Jim, I just got one question. Looking through these bid results, it seemed like we had a number of vendors that were no response. Is there anything behind that? I mean, what do you read into that?
Well, there is. We've been talking about this for years. So when I asked the same electric company to bid something, and it's 8 years in a row, he's way too high, he's not bidding.
Okay.
So a lot of those low bidders have been my low bidder for years. The other people aren't bidding anymore. We're also talking co-stars now. So some of these things are co-stars that we can just, pick the vendor because the price is the price. An example, if I wanted to buy a John Deere, which we will, tractor, it's going to be $7,422 no matter where we go. So Little's just bought Devlin.
Yeah.
But before Little's and Devlin, they were the same price. So it's just, the bidding process is very involved for companies. They won't do it anymore because I'll give you my co-star's price, but I'm not bidding. And so again,
Okay.
this trash company, they were hungry. They're actually BFI from way back.
Yeah.
So,
All right. No, I appreciate it. No, it is good news for the district. Thank you.
Thank you. Was there any other discussion? Dr. Urno?
Thank you. Mr. Loeffler, the gym floor, this is, I presume, the first refinishing since the floor was installed when that building was renovated. And it has been 12 years, something like that? Is that a normal lifetime for that type of floor?
so I came at the very end of that, but that gym floor was refinished 12 to 13 years ago. It wasn't a new floor like here the high school received one, I believe. So is that normal? I mean, Sowers Elementary, I believe, was probably 20 years, and some of the others we were doing were probably closer to 20 years as far as refinishing. Again, I'm not sure what happened to this floor. Low bid, have to get the big project open by, you know how it is. So maybe, I don't know, but the floor is really peeling, per se. So it's just the next one in line. But yes, it is 12 to 13 years since it's been refinished.
Do the floors come with any type of warranty on them? Or like any sort of guarantee for X amount of years?
Well,
Sorry.
well, I have never installed a gym floor, so I can't answer that. The finish is certainly a 1-year warranty, yes, the finish, and then we service it. Completely new gym floor.
Is there any other discussion? Is everyone okay with moving these to the meeting? Thank you. Item number 5 is school bus replacement. Request to seek bids for new school buses for 2018-2019.
Good evening. She's going to get the computer running and the camera up. We'll have everything ready shortly. This will be our 4th year that we're going out to bid for new buses. If approved, this will make it 46 buses that we will have replaced out of the 124. During the presentation, I will give you an update on the average age and average miles of our buses, as I had promised earlier. Do you see it on your screens anyway? Okay. I'll move forward. I'm recommending that we go to bid for 5 30-passenger buses at the cost of $60,000, 1 48-passenger bus with a wheelchair lift, and they will be fully, that we can use it, fully capable of handling like 6 wheelchairs, taking out all the seats, because we put track seating in, so we can replace all the seats with wheelchairs, and we can take them in and out anytime to reconfigure it. So that makes it a little more costly than a normal, even a 72 passenger bus, because there are a lot more things that have to be installed for that, to do it like that. So that one's gonna run an estimated $100,000. 472 passenger buses, which run around $90,000. 2 9-passenger vans, which we have a pricing that's right around $45,000 through CoStar. That'll be more detailed as far as the exact dollar amount as soon as I get the final number for the CoStar pricing. So it brings our total estimate to $850,000, which is exactly the number right now that's in our budget. I'm looking at it coming down because of the trades and also because of the bid. Once the bid comes in, we'll have a better idea. I always price it so it's a little bit higher so that I'm not short money when it comes down to it. Carl Duke and I talk to the vendors. We get what they feel the current prices are in bids in other districts that they've dealt with over the last year, and that's what we try to go with then on an average. So we have a good idea that we're going to be within our budget, and we don't want to have to come back and say, oops, we went too high. Then we cut something at the last minute. So there's a list there of all the buses that are going to be going out this year with the trades. I will explain that one that we have for the scrap list. It is a newer bus. It's a 2009. It's only 10 years old. But the engine went on it. We've gotten various estimates from us doing the work to the dealer, the vendor doing the work. It ranges $20,000 to $25,000. It's just not worth putting that kind of money into a 10-year-old bus. And that was our decision. We recommended to Sean, and he agreed that we bring it to you guys, scrap it. We'll get more actually probably on scrap than we would on the trade. And nobody will really take it as a trade with an engine to be replaced. So that's why we recommended to go that way. Our average age of our buses currently, after getting everything in this year, is now 2010, is the average age of any of our buses. The average mileage is down to 124,873 miles. We still do have buses with 290, 270, 250,000. But you got to understand, we have a lot of 2019 buses now that came in with 1,000 miles, 1,500 miles, depending where they came from in the country. So we're getting there. We're starting to get a fleet that's getting down to after we go through this round and get rid of our 1998 wheelchair bus. That's a good bus, but it's still running, but it's time to get rid of it. We won't have anything older than 2000. And I think 2000, there's 2 buses that's 2000s. So with this bid, we'll start getting rid of more of this stuff and get a newer fleet out there. It's really working out great. And the guys are doing a tremendous job keeping the older buses running on a daily basis. So. And all this money is going to come out of the budget that hopefully you approve later this month. Because there's a line item in there for the $850,000 again this year. So, any questions maybe? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Geiger.
You're welcome.
The next Facilities Committee meeting is scheduled for July 10th, 2018. Is there any comments or questions from board members? Dr. Yarnell?
I have a comment. I mentioned it already to Mr. Loeffler tonight. I noticed that our geese are returning. Every time I come across the drive in front of the high school here, we have to dodge geese and now goslings as well, because it appears that they have another round. So I wonder what our prognosis is for this. Do we have hope that they will eventually flee us, or are we stuck with a new generation that likes the lights as opposed to that does not?
I don't know.
He's retiring.
You know, when we put the lights in, we knew we had 20 or 30 that stayed behind because they were nesting. We believe hundreds have left. Then they had their babies, and I had 30 new babies running around my property, and they grew quick. Can't even tell there's been a baby anymore. So now we have 60. Are they going to go away, or are they going to stay? Should I leave or should I go? Isn't it a song? Let's hope they leave. They're supposed to leave. The whole thing is once they start nesting, the lights may not chase them away. So as far as I know, my lights are still in place, they're all still working. Let's hope they leave, but I don't have a real answer. And I was just thinking about it today, we're probably right at, it was a 90-day warranty. We're probably just past that, but again, how can we prove it means we install them right at nesting season? And again, like I said, unfortunately, the sidewalks are starting to build again. It was beautiful. Sidewalks were clean. So we'll see, we'll hope.
Anyone else? Okay. I'd like to open the floor back up for public comment.
Real quick comment, Sue Furlong, West Rockville Township. The comment was just made that the wheelchair bus that we have now is fine, it's running well, but it's time for it to go, unquote. We're going to get rid of it. I also saw where the new one's $100,000. It's my understanding that typically you need a backup, and especially of a bus like that because it's so specialized. I wouldn't get rid of that bus if it's running well. I'd keep the thing. You're not going to get anything for it. And in case your $100,000 bus needs to be rotated through maintenance, you got your backup for nothing. So that, I'm not going to tell anybody how to run their business, but as a taxpayer, I don't want to buy another one when I got one that just was described as running well, but we just need to get rid of it. No, we don't. Keep it. You're not getting anything for it.
Thank you, Mrs. Furlong. Is there any other comments from?
I can answer that question if you want. It would be a lot
Does
easier.
anybody want to weigh in? Okay. Thank you.
Sure. That bus is our spare currently. We will buy a new bus to replace one that will become another spare. And this one will become a regular runner bus then. This one won't sit and the spare will go. That's why we're doing it. We're trying to replace a 1998 bus. Yes, it runs, but the parts are obsolete. We're unable to get parts anymore, we were told by the dealers, so that's why we're looking to replace it. So we'll have a spare for the bus. Not that we won't have a spare on the lot.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your clarification. Is there any other public comment today?
Is it on? No, one that looks like a face.
There it is.
Would it be the one that says on? All right, good evening. Lee Rush from Percy. I've spoken often here. Sometimes I come as a parent, but I don't anymore because my daughter is out of school from Pennridge, had an outstanding education, doing very well. And I really believe that's partly to do with what happened here at Pennridge. Sometimes I come to speak as a citizen, living here my whole life, proud citizen of Pennridge. For many generations, I really like that I can still say that my great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather came and founded Bedminster Township. Proud moment. I've been here a long time. I've been here before many boards. Tonight I don't want to speak as a parent or a citizen. I want to talk more as a professional, as a colleague, as a collaborative partner in education, which I believe so strongly that makes America one of the best places in the world, is because we do grant every citizen, every child who's born here, a free and appropriate education. It's a powerful thing that we did and still do. It was mentioned earlier, and I want to talk about this issue, about the relationship between a board and an administration. So professionally what I do, I founded a nonprofit 20 years ago called Just Community, which is founded on the principle of justice and fairness and respect between all people, youth and adults together. One of the things our agency does is we train people in what's called student assistance programs. We're one of the 25 licensed trainers in Pennsylvania, one of the first ones here in Bucks County. Many people came through our training to learn how to intervene and work with kids early as they were identified by teachers of having difficulties learning. Another thing we did years ago is to apply for a federal grant from the White House for drug-free communities, and we were very proudly selected in 2007 as the model program, as one of the model programs in America by the White House, and honored through the Office of Drug Policy as a model coalition for what we were doing in Pennridge and Upper Bucks. It was in the drug policy for the country in 2007. One of the things that I do now is I travel to schools all over the country. I've been to 80 different districts in the last couple of years working with justice and discipline and policy development about how to handle student behavior. And one of the things that comes up a lot in districts is about the interplay between administration and their boards that are duly elected by citizens. Every district is different sometimes in the country, how many board members sit, how they're elected, how often, whatnot. Party affiliation, primary, they're all different sometimes. What it seems is happening now, at least in my opinion, I'll make it short if I can, is the process that's unfolding between a new board, and as I mentioned this earlier, the power and the positions that people have. That's to me really what makes things wonderful, is about that people have individual power and groups have power, and it seems as if there's some real challenge right now about how that power gets distributed and how it is used between board members and administration. So my education taught me, and I believe this is, accurate, is that boards have 4 functions: to hire superintendent, pass policies, make sure they're solid, that if you do get sued, you're going to win, because you will get sued, but you don't want to always win. Approve curriculum, and pass the budget, and pass the millage rate. And certainly the last several months, 3 of those 4 have been front and center. So earlier tonight, Dr. Radigan used the phrase that there's a governance issue and an administrative issue. And it seems to me that that's going to be the real rub going forward about how the new board and newly elected board members and current ones, or ones that are soon going to be here, work through those new dynamics. And all I can suggest is that it's just good to name the issue and have real honest discussions about people's roles, responsibilities, duties, and how they get played out between all these people. To me, my view is that, we hire administration, we look towards administration, they've spent decades on their craft, they're highly educated, highly compensated, highly trained, that there needs to be a tremendous difference at times to their recommendations. And of course, boards could argue that we have view over everything, because we all have, the ability to pass policies, of which was mentioned earlier. I'll finish up in just a few seconds. So that is my suggestion, is to really name the issue directly and work through it as best we can. I really appreciate, one last comment, I mentioned here that I didn't know many people on the board before. I've been traveling a lot. And I really appreciate those board members I was able to meet with individually recently and give time to learn who you are, how you think, what you bring to this stage, what you bring to this community. And I really think that's, to me, is the key, is people get to know each other in a very calm way at times about where people's perceptions are being formed. So thank you so much for the time. I know everyone will appreciate it. Sorry. Thank you so much. I'll take it off the next thing.
Is there any other public comment this evening? Seeing none, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Thank you.
Oh, second.
Weird.
Megan seconded.
Thank you.